In this video, I want to talk about Portkey Games. Now, we've talked absolutely loads on this channel about Hogwarts Legacy, which is obviously the big game that's going to be coming out at some point soon, in inverted commas. If Hogwarts Legacy is a game that you're looking forward to, then why not check out those videos, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on all the many future videos we're going to have on it as well. We've also made a video in the past specifically about Portkey Games, talking about the games that we know they're actually working on. And in this video, what I want to talk about with Portkey Games is the games I really hope we are going to find out that they're working on as well. Because obviously we know lots of stuff they are working on, but there's going to be a huge amount of stuff that should be coming out, much like you do for Star Wars, much like you do for Middle-earth. No reason you shouldn't go out for the Wizarding World. So these are the 5 games that I most want to see getting announced in the future, but I'd love to know your comments as well. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree, some you might like, some you might not, if you've got other ideas of games you'd like as well. And I would say as well that conversations like this, they're a bit fun and whatever, but actually they can be quite important, because Portkey Games and generally developers out there, they want to have a feel obviously for the sort of games that people want. So having these discussions, get people to talk about it, can actually get what we want. We can let them know what we want, and you could find out that these games get made. So as I say, it's an important conversation. So let's get straight into this then. So the first game then that I would like to see Portkey Games announce, and I'm pretty sure they probably are already working on this, and we're going to why in a second, is a game around Quidditch. Obviously we had a Quidditch game many years ago, 10 years ago, whenever it was now, the Quidditch World Cup. That was very popular game. It was a very, very good game. Lots of people enjoyed it. Lots of people have been crying out for a long time to get that remade or a new version. In my last video, I spoke specifically about this and why I think this might be included in Hogwarts Legacy, the sort of evidence that's out there it might be, or if not included in Hogwarts Legacy, it's just as likely you'll get your own game, maybe even more so. So hopefully we're going to get a Quidditch game out there. I'm not going to repeat myself from what I did in the last video, but if you want to understand more on the why on that one, then like I say, check it out. So game number 2 then that I'd like to see Portkey Games announce in the future is a Fantastic Beasts Tycoon type game. Now, I quite like Tycoon games. I'm playing Planet Coaster at the moment. I know it's a bit of a niche, but quite a lot of other people like them as well. We had the pretty successful first Jurassic Park game, Jurassic World I think it was called, that was on the consoles last year, and that was popular. So much so that a sequel to that game got announced at E3. So like I say, there is a big market out there for it. I mean, this has been mentioned 1 or 2 times in the comments to my other videos, but yeah, if we had a Fantastic Beasts Tycoon, you imagine the Graphorns, the Mooncalfs, the Dragons, it's a whole host, obviously there's a whole franchise spin-off from the Harry Potter and the Fantastic Beasts, so there's a huge amount of material that you could use that could make the game good, and you could have all sorts of interesting magical things happening. Game number 3 then I'd like to see, this is less of which genre I'd like to see this game, more of the concept of the game I'd like, which is we had the Harry Potter books. Those got turned into Harry Potter movies. Those got turned into Harry Potter games. You've also had The Cursed Child that has been very successful at theatres. Then obviously you've got all the theme park worlds and a huge amount of other stuff you've got with Harry Potter. The character himself is massively liked. Ron, Hermione, the whole lot is massively liked. What I would like to see, some more from Harry Potter. I don't know. You could do the game in a million different ways. Maybe it'd be a mystery game. Maybe it'd be just a small story. Maybe it'd be a spin-off of part of the year we've already been in. But I just think it'd be good. It'd be quite fun. I think lots of people get excited about it if you actually had a bit more to Harry Potter. We're having loads more into Wizarding World. And I'd love to see that character come back. I'm saving my most left field game for number 5, but just before we do that, number 4 would be I'd love to see a sequel to Hogwarts Legacy. Now, you might think that I'm getting a bit ahead of myself there, considering that the first game isn't even out yet, but I would like to see it down the line at some point, because 1, that would mean the game is good, and 2, it would become a proper franchise. You'd get various iterations, and, quite often the second games, not always, it has to be said, but quite often second games are better than the first because little things get ironed out. And I know you can have patches and things like that, but you can sort of reimagine, reconcept if you have an Hogwarts Legacy 2. So like I said, that one's a bit more further down the line, but I'd be very delighted effectively if Hogwarts Legacy become a bit of a feature. Something that you got more than once would be good. And that could even be that the game is set somewhere else, but it's a matter of the fact that hopefully these developers make an excellent job on the game, and they can make a similar game, another open world game in the Wizarding World in the future, set at Hogwarts or wherever. Game number 5 then that I'd like to see, the left field one that I mentioned, is that I'd absolutely love to see a real-time strategy game set in the Wizarding World. To be explicitly clear, what I mean by real-time strategy game, I'm talking about a game like Battle for Middle-earth, Battle for Middle-earth 2, the extremely good Middle-earth games. So that's your sort of your top-down, you've got a load of units, you've got a base you're trying to protect, or what have you. Games like that are fantastic to play online. You know, games like Red Alert, if you've played a game like that. Now, why do I say that's left field? Well, I say it's left field because it's a bit hard to imagine exactly in the current guise of how we've had things from the Wizarding World, how you could set up a game like that, because you have to take different factions. I mean, it could work. You could have, we know you've got the Goblin Rebellions, you could have a Goblin army, then you could have an army run by a figure like Voldemort, maybe him, so all their Death Eaters, then you could have all the good guys, so you sort of your Hogwarts type teachers or whatever, and each of them could have all different fantastic beasts with them, and we know it can be set at whatever time period. Hogwarts Legacy is telling us that because it's late 800s. So you could go any time period you want. It's great for single player. It's great for multiplayer. I'd just love to see that game made. Now, I'll see you on the next video.